So I just saw a post on Twitter from a guy saying that journaling is gay. Now, I took a look at his profile to see who the fuck says that, right? Who says that journaling is gay? I was just so curious. Turned out that it was a 15-year-old kid, which didn't surprise me, okay? At 15, I also thought I had life figured out. I thought that at 15, I knew everything, right? And then I grew up. And then I started doing the podcast, started speaking to multimillionaires, started realizing how small of a grain of salt I am on this beach. That I realized that I have a lot to learn. Still to this day, I have a lot to learn. And I might have even at 25. Okay? So, I saw he was 15 in his bio. So, I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe he's one of those 15-year-olds who's making like 10K a month and already has his dream car, and maybe he retired his parents by 15, right? Maybe he's a person like that. Maybe he's someone really impressive. I look at his X profile, and what he had there was a couple of posts, a couple of rage baits, and some Fortnite gameplays. Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that this type of guy says that journaling is gay. To be honest, it didn't surprise me, right? Like, he had some 40 or 50 followers, which was kind of nice. Right? It's a nice for a 15-year-old playing Fortnite, so kind of get it. But these rage baits, I understand that he's trying to get attention and then try to sell something, but if you don't provide a value at all and just criticize good habits like journaling and reading, you're not going to get that far. And I'm going to explain why journaling is so important for you. I'd say that journaling is important for somebody who's trying to move up in life and trying to always improve himself and trying to get feedback on what he's doing. So, did you even try ever? Okay, this is the first question ever. You watching this right now, did you ever try journaling? If no, shut the fuck up. This is like the first thing. You're not qualified whatsoever if you haven't even tried. And now, journaling may sound gay, and I'm gonna admit, if you're doing the Disney type of, let me talk about my feelings type of journaling, yeah, that is pretty gay. I'm not gonna lie. That's some gay shit, what girls do. I agree with that 100%. But there's a self-improvement type of way of journaling from which you get feedback. So the way I journal is at the beginning of my day and at the end of my day. The first thing I do is write out my goals. I have 3 goals. I'm gonna use an analogy from Brian Tracy. He says every single day when you wake up in the morning, write your goals, write your 10 goals every single day on a new piece of paper and rewrite them. Even if they're the same goals, rewrite them every single day. What that is doing is training your subconscious mind to attract things, to behave in a way that makes you attract the things that you want to. Because right now, your subconscious, if you're still playing video games, you're subconsciously acting in a way that takes you away from your goals. Another lesson from Brian Tracy is, if something is not moving you towards your goals, it is probably moving away from your goals. Nothing is neutral. Brian Tracy is a multi-millionaire. He's 81 years old. I don't actually know his net worth. You can Google that. But if you think that this guy is not a valid source of information, business information, and you see, most guys want to focus on the tactical stuff, on a like tactical stuff, right? The business tactics, on lead funnels and all of this shit. But that won't work if your mind isn't on point. So what type of feedback do you give yourself? Let's say, okay, you write your first goals, and then you always in the morning you say what you expect of yourself to do this day, and then towards the end of the day, after you've completed your task list, or maybe you have not and you fucked up, you say, what have I done good and what have I done bad today? And what do I plan to do tomorrow? And tomorrow you wake up and, do I feel like doing the things I want to do, or do I not feel like it? And then I don't feel like it, I'm going to do them anyways. And then towards the end of your day, you see if you actually keep your word. And what this does is, another thing I'm going to tell you to do is, at the end of the week, every single 7 days, you look over your past week and you look how many promises to yourself you've made that you have not kept. And you have to be real with this shit. You cannot sugarcoat anything. You have to be 100% of the time correct and 100% of the time real. Okay? Yeah, when you reread those 7 days, it needs to sting. You need to see where you fucked up in order to improve, in order to fix your problem. Because how the fuck do you even expect to build a better life if you will try to keep old habits, if you will try to keep your problems and not fix them, if you're going to avoid them? If we're going to keep jerking off the porn, being a fucking cuck, if we're going to keep being childish and play video games, how the fuck do you expect to be a millionaire? Okay, that's just not gonna happen. You can't avoid your fuck ups. Okay, you can try to avoid them, but in your subconscious mind, they're always gonna be there. And you need to make space in your subconscious mind to have the type of thoughts that will attract your dream life. And you will act in a way that will attract that. Instead of scrolling on Instagram, your mind is not gonna think about that porn scene you watched yesterday and what do you want to jerk off to today. Your brain is not going to think about that video game story and what do you think is going to happen, or when GTA 6 is going to launch. Your brain is going to think about, how can I provide as much value to this client? And this is like the normal automatic thoughts that you think about in the shower, when you're taking a shit, when you're wherever, right? These are types of things. You're not thinking about that girl from high school who cheated on you. Don't think about this shit if you have your mind on point. And journaling is the one thing that keeps you on track with that. Because if you keep writing your goals every single day, and you take out bad habits, and you make it sting, you say how ashamed you are of what you've done, and you fix that. This is the number one thing that will build you a better life. This is the number one step that will make you progress. Because if you don't write it down on a physical... Shit, I just spilled my coffee in my fucking hand. Basically, the thing is, if you don't write it down on a physical piece of paper, it's not physical. It's just in your mind. You can avoid it. You can think about something else. As soon as you write it on a piece of paper, like literally on a physical piece of paper, that's exactly when you cannot avoid it, right? You cannot erase it, or at least I hope that you don't buy one of those pens that you can erase, right? Don't buy those. Let your fuck ups, even your spelling mistakes, whatever, leave them in there to see some feedback on what you can improve on. Okay, now, moving aside from self-improvement stuff, all of this is going to be self-improvement stuff, but aside from your goals, you can understand your emotions better. You don't lash out on people. Why? Because when you fap and you're in a low frequency and you have that shame, which is low frequency, and you feel, when you jerk off and you feel horrible, when you waste time and you feel horrible and you're angry, you're now disgusting and toxic to other people. You're now annoying to other people. You're now aggressive towards other people. When it's something you've caused, where it's your fuck up, when you can't stop your hand from touching your own dick, that's your fault. And then you are unpleasant to your mom or your sister about it, or the girl that you go on a date with, and you have this angry red pill rage mindset about women, and then you're just trying to fuck and she can tell, and that's why you keep getting rejected. You spend $50 on a date with a girl and she goes to sleep with someone else, right? I've told you guys the story about when that one girl came to my home from a date with a guy who spent $50 on her, take her to some small restaurant, and she said, no, I gotta go home and help my mom with something, right? And then she went to my home, right? And she just told me that story, and that's when I realized, wow, like, a girl can really sense when you're thirsty and you get no pussy. Like, a girl can really sense that. Now, this was not a girl I took seriously. This was not my girlfriend. My girlfriend would never go on a date with some other dude, right? This was a girl, like, a friend who would benefit, you know, that type of stuff. So basically unbottle all of your emotions. And I think what for that Dr. Andrew Huberman said was, when feeling a strong emotion, analyze what caused it. Dr. Andrew Huberman. Now, Dr. Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist. You can check him out. He has a lot of credibility. This guy knows what he's talking about. And when you analyze what happened, either it's a good or a bad emotion, to be honest. Either you feel extremely happy today or extremely bad today. Analyze what happened before that. How did your day go? And when you journal and you write down everything that happened today, and then you write down how you feel at the end of the day, and you can analyze why, then you can predict the future. Then you can predict, will this action make me feel good or bad? Well, how did it make me feel before that? And you might think, oh, I just remember. No, it's just logical. No, it's a part of your subconscious brain, not your conscious mind. Okay, it's a part of the amygdala, not the prefrontal cortex. Now, I explained about that. NoFap explained scientifically, that video I explained prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, and this applies to this one too, this topic too. And the thing is, if you keep repeating the same mistake and you're gonna keep rereading it every 7 days, eventually you get to a point where you're so pissed off with yourself that you decide that you have to fix it. That basically your subconscious mind is gonna get so angry with this emotion that there's just enough pressure to the point where it explodes and it forces you to stop. Journaling can stop you with your porn addiction. Literally. It's like an oil rig. You dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Every single time you write down you've jerked off today, even though you told yourself you won't, you dig deeper and deeper and deeper until you hit the oil pool and then explodes. That's the same thing here. You eventually put so much incredible amounts of just anger and just I've had enough type of emotion, and you read it every single week and you keep writing it with shame and you don't want to admit it and you don't want to admit how many times you did it today, and you do it and that bad emotion keeps repeating in your mind. You eventually say, I've had enough of this. I cannot handle this emotional pain anymore. So this is another thing. Now, you get to know yourself better. You get to understand why you do the things you do. With journaling, again, dude, you don't have to follow a script. The thing is, you have so many thoughts in your brain, and you have a piece of paper and a pen. You dump it all there. This is not a book. This is not you writing a book that anybody's gonna read. Maybe that's the reason why you're ashamed of journaling. Bro, burn it if you want to. Throw it in the bin. Like, throw it away. Do whatever the fuck you want with it after. Right? After you've just written it down. It's not about having it stored and having this journal for the next 10 years. You can throw it away if you want to. Although I would recommend you to, because it's really nice to look at a journal from a year ago, 2 years ago. Trust me, from my own experience, it's really nice to see the progress. But even if you don't want to do that, you can throw it away. But just the act of writing it down, it does something in your subconscious mind. It does something, all right? So you don't have to follow a script. You can just write whatever you want. You can talk about this thing, then flip-flop to another thing, then just rant, then just talk about whatever the fuck you want, like I do in these videos. In these videos, I have scripts because I want to keep your attention, and I don't want you to be all scattered around not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. Only I can understand my own brain. You cannot understand everything. I have to formulate it in a way that you will understand. But you don't have to do that with a journal. You can do whatever you want, and you know that it's you. You will understand yourself. Another thing is that you get great ideas. From journaling, I've gotten so many great ideas, for the love of God. So many improvements on my podcast I've made from just thinking and journaling and brain dumping. And it's okay to journal for an hour or 2 hours a day. Like last morning pretty much, when I went to sleep at 4 a.m. I saw like it's 5:30 and I'm still writing, pages, because I just wanted to. Because my mind kept, you have to empty your mind. You have to look at it like a bin, and you have to empty it, right? Before you can start a new day to fill in the recycle bin. What you do is that you have a bin that is full, and you keep throwing away papers in it, tissues from jerking off probably, Snickers packages, whatever. You keep throwing stuff in that. Well, it overfloods. Now you have a messy room. Now you have a messy life. You need to empty it before you can start the next day putting in stuff, right? So this is how you should treat your life and your mind, because your mind can control your life. That's like the realest quotes I've ever heard. And if you even look at it, a lot of successful people journal. You need to realize that you have to understand yourself in order to be able to have clients and understand other people and to make a lot of money. Now, there are a lot of successful people that don't journal, don't read books, and that is true. But then look at those people's lives. Do you want to be like Lil Pump or 6ix9ine? Do you want to be like these guys looking like faggots Like, I like 6ix9ine and I like Lil Pump. I like the guys that what they stand for. I like that Lil Pump is Republican, right? He's voting for Trump and all of that. I like the guy, but nobody really respects him because he doesn't understand himself, and he just does unpredictable shit now that makes him go viral and all that. But what type of legacy are you building? Whereas if you take a look at people like Hamza, take a look at people like Brian Tracy, Luke Belmore, these guys journal, these guys read books, these guys think, these guys meditate. These guys are successful and they will build a legacy, and they have built such a reputation in young men that everybody respects them. And I hope that this is what you want. If you don't want to be respected and you just want to be a lucky guy who won the lottery, go ahead, gamble on meme coins, alright? This channel is probably not for you. Although I do still engage in crypto, I don't want to be known about that. That's why I don't make crypto content, is because that's not what I want to build my legacy upon. Anyways, I'm just going off on a side tangent now, so I hope that this video was useful to you. I hope that you're gonna try and you're gonna actually put in effort, because it only takes like an hour a day and it can change your life. So with this in mind, may God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one.